we get into the video, little disclaimer, obviously there's a level of privilege that comes along with being who I am, but I like to believe that regardless of who you are, what your circumstances are, where you grew up, how you grew up, you too can be a lucky girl. I feel so pretty right now. I haven't worn a dress in so long. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria Lynn Myers. I do everything and you can too. Today I wanted to talk about this idea of lucky girl. I want to say lucky girl syndrome. Okay, so Google defines lucky girl syndrome as essentially the belief that affirmative mantras and a positive mindset in life will bend everyday events in your favor. Which, when you put it that way, it does sound a little kooky, but I swear by it. That doesn't matter if you're a guy, a girl, however you identify. You can be lucky by believing you are lucky. And I'm telling you, I manifested my way into swim week. I've manifested so many random celebrities that hit me up. I have manifested money like you wouldn't believe, and people and resources. Little backstory. I grew up in a religious cult. I moved out at 17 with $200 in my pocket. It was all graduation money. I went to a school with 100 or less kids. Graduated, moved to Indiana, went to a religious college there without going into details. I have not had an easy life. I know whenever people talk about their traumas, it almost feels like there's a show almost around it where, you know, we're trying to outperform each other when it comes to traumas. And at the end of the day, it is true that I would choose my life over any of yours any day. It's just familiar in what we know, right? Okay, so with all of that context, I truly believe that any excuses you give yourself in life are a scapegoat. Now, it doesn't mean they're not valid, right? But as I've said in previous videos, anything that gives you a little bit of a lax, a little bit less pressure to live the life that you want and you can see yourself as living is a scapegoat. I think there's like this misconception that being delusional doesn't mean acknowledging the bad moments. No, it means acknowledging them, but it doesn't mean letting them have a chokehold over your life. And it is true that when you are in a state of whatever mindset you're in life, whether that be positive, negative, whatever, it's so much easier when you're in that headspace to then think of 30,000 things on top of that one thing that is also that same vibration. Very crucial that you keep yourself on a thin line, and that tightrope sometimes can be very slippery. I think there's a whole dissertation that could be said around being so selfish in this regard and never allowing other people that are struggling into your life. No, it's just making sure that you fill up your cup first to where you have the bandwidth to then be able to help other people. If I'm in a state of disarray, how am I going to help somebody else that is also in a state of disarray? It just doesn't happen. You guys will both sink. And so with that, let's talk about lucky girl syndrome. I grew up, like I said, 17, born and raised in a religious cult, shirts up to here, skirts down to there. I literally went to a cult college where the predominant, it's so crazy to think about because I haven't even processed it. And I don't think that there's necessarily any processing for me to do. It's just kind of like, yeah, that happened. Moving on. Because again, like I'm not viewing any of these things as scapegoat. Didn't get a normal education. The curriculums weren't your normal curriculums. We weren't allowed to have like a secular education whatsoever. So the curriculums were very dumbed down already as it is. Most of the people writing the curriculums never even had a degree. And the teachers that I taught me did not have legal degrees either. They also went to this cult college, got a degree, but the degrees were also taught by, it's a cycle. The degrees were also taught by people that didn't have actual degrees. No offense, you know. Not going back to the trauma Olympics. I'm trying to give you these things as like reasons for why I could have chose to stay where I was at in life, could have chose to do X, Y, and Z. No offense again to 9-to-5s. I think some people it works for them, some people it doesn't. And that's completely fine. I think at the end of the day, you eventually have to settle anyway. I think some point in your life you settle, and that is what it is. It's fine. But only you can set that standard for yourself. And for me, it just was never enough. And I moved out at 17, $200 in my pocket, went to this religious college, worked at a call center that had to be approved through the college. I've done call center jobs, car sales. I have done estimates on collision vehicles set up to take over this one company, but I kept experiencing a lot of harassment at that job. I was the only woman there. It was me and 6 or 7 other guys, and it just was not good. Here's the thing with any type of belief, you can believe it, but then also set yourself up for success logically. All of that to say, I've had bad circumstances. You've had bad circumstances, but they're just that. They're just your circumstances. And with the lucky girl syndrome, it is crucial, tip number 1, that you don't only believe that you're lucky, but logistically, logically, you set yourself up for success. Now, how this would look or how this would apply in everyday life is, say I believe I'm so lucky. Right? I get everything I want. I don't have to ask. I don't have to beg. Just I'm at the right place at the right time, good connections, good people, etc. Right? Okay, how do I set myself up for success? I would go there. I would look my best. I would save. There's like so many logistics around lucky girl syndrome that I think so many people don't talk about. When you see like a TikTok of this cute aesthetic, reel or whatever, where you're swiping and it's just like Pilates and matchas and stretching and, luxury. And it's like, how the heck did they get there? For some people it is nepotism. And I think there's a lot of conversation around it leading to a capitalist agenda, right? Like, what is your end goal with lucky girl syndrome? Is it to achieve more things? Is it to gain more power, money, wealth, status, etc.? You can also totally manifest friendships and romantic partnerships and your dream apartment and books and like things that hold material value, but also hold spiritual, physical, whatever value. It doesn't have to circle back to how can I get the next Prada bag. I think it's really important when we have this conversation around lucky girl syndrome that we not only talk about being at the right place at the right time, but like logistically what that would look like. So setting yourself up for success, saving your money. The only way that I was able to quit that job that was the 9-to-5 that was like harassing me every day, and I was literally going on breaks because I was having panic attacks because it was just me and 2 other dudes in a room, and I was being quizzed every day about my sexuality, about who I was. It was awful. And I did that, and I dealt with that. And it's unfortunate that so many people, this is not an isolated incident. So many people deal with this, right? This is unfortunately, it's a normal thing. I was reading in the Bell Hooks book that I just started reading called All About Love. And in it, there's a stat that was alarming. And this book is, I don't know when it was written. I'll have to double check. This book was saying that over the span of a year, 700,000 women are assaulted. That's not talking about like different types of abuse either that are just so normalized in our society. And that's not even going into the men that are non-binary people or whoever. And I just think in general, 9-to-5s, unpopular opinion, but something that's becoming more acknowledged, I guess, is most of them will be abusive. There's the power dynamic and most people do not deserve power, unfortunately. With that being said, I saved. I wasn't just skipping through that job thinking I was so lucky and not taking the active steps in order to fulfill that prophecy that I was lucky. Get yourself up for success with that mindset. It's going to be magnetic when you walk into a room and you believe that good things are happening. But I think there's almost this level of imposter syndrome. I was thinking last night, I recently started lifting pretty heavy in the gym. And like before I had a fat ass, but it wasn't, I had a great figure, but it wasn't built per se. It was just like how my genetics are. Whereas now I'm being very intentional about lifting and lifting heavy and stuff. And I no longer have that imposter syndrome around my body or whatever, or even the things that I've achieved, because I have the collateral, and I don't mean that monetarily. I mean that just in general, to back up what I say. And so having lucky girl syndrome and not having imposter syndrome are possible if you also set yourself up for success. Save your money, please. Like, you do not need to be following all of these trends. You can go to the thrift store. It's so much cooler that way. It's so unique. And dudes, like, save your money. It's so crazy how many people want success or believe that they're successful. And I love being delusional. I'm the delusional queen, but I also have the mental bandwidth and everything to back up what I'm stating. And I have those things in my arsenal. It's hard because you see people and they have such good intentions and such good, heart, and they believe good things are happening. And yeah, there will be good things that'll happen just because of that headspace. But I'm just such a firm believer, and my life has been such a testament to not only believing in good things happening, but also having the things and doing the things, even if they're hard, even if it's not fun, there's sacrifice with it. But I'm a lucky girl because I have worked to be a lucky girl on top of being a lucky girl. And so, yeah, there's privilege that goes along with being, in the class that I'm in and everything like that. But I did not grow up. I know how basic this sounds, right? I'm looking into a camera. I have a good life now, and I'm saying I didn't grow up this way, but I truly didn't. It sucks that you almost have to post proof, but again, I'm not in the trauma Olympics. Take it or leave it. At the end of the day, if you don't believe that, and if you believe that everybody that has power, wealth, etc., was born into it, you're going to be the one that snoozes and loses because of it. Because if I believed that, I wouldn't be where I was at. And if anybody that has had a hard life or whatever, which honestly, who hasn't, didn't believe to some extent that they were in control of their own life, they wouldn't get anywhere. You saying or ever giving anybody else the capability of, yeah, they were born into it. Yeah, they did X, Y, and Z. Yeah, whatever, but they were handed it, spoon-fed, whatever. What good does that do for you? What good does it do for you? And that's what I want to kind of leave with. What's the worst thing that happens when you think in a positive headspace? What's the worst that happens when you believe you're a lucky person? Answer me that, because I think a lot of times there's a lot of fear around not even believing you're a happy or lucky person, but just whatever the good thing is that you want to achieve or do or be or get in life. Fear limits us. Fear is the strongest drug. Fear and love. Love is strong. Fear is strong. Two very strong things that people let control and dictate their every move. So ask yourself next time you're, in this headspace, what am I gaining from this mindset? What do I need right now? And what am I gaining right now by feeling, thinking, believing this? And if the answer is nothing, or the answer is anything other than good things, you gotta switch it off. Again, I know there are so many elements that you could use or I could use that would make you feel oh, it's okay. I have this excuse. Those are all scapegoats, though. They're all scapegoats. And I hate to tell you that, but most everything in your life is a scapegoat. I go out to lunch with friends and they're talking about X, Y, and Z and bad thing that's happening to them and all this stuff. And it's just they're giving so much power and energy to these things. And then they look at me for a response. And I'm over there what are we doing? Why are we spending time on this? There is so much you could be spending time on to change your circumstances if they're bad. And they are. I know they're bad for a lot of people. But focusing on it only holds you down. Put your focus into where you want your life to go. Where you put your focus, your energy goes, and those things grow. Even as simple as when you're raising a child. There's something about not giving attention within reason to things that are not good behaviors. Direct your focus elsewhere and watch your life change. So sure, yeah, I'm a lucky girl. You can be a lucky person, but please set yourself up for success by doing things and creating patterns in your life that lead you to be that lucky person. And then also have that headspace, have that mindset that good things are happening. Your life will change and get better. I promise you. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this type of content, please give me a like, leave me a comment down below, and let me know what ways your life has changed by this thinking. Let me know what ways you feel like you could improve. My life has changed so much over the past year alone, let alone 3 years, 5 years, whatever ago, by directing my focus to only positive things as frequently as possible. I want to encourage everybody on this channel Let's grow together. Let's encourage each other. Let's spread a smile. Let's give a hug. Let's build each other up, but let's also make sure we're pouring into our own cup. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you so soon. Bye.